Hey guys, I'm Kate and this is Grubbin' the Gilmore Way, where we will be cooking our way through the official Gilmore Girls cookbook. Today we are going to be starting our first recipe in the book from Luke's Diner, which is a hot fudge sundae with a side of grapefruit. And when I initially saw this recipe, I was like, oh, how hard can it be? It's a hot fudge sundae and grapefruit. Just cut it up, serve it on the side, that's it. But as I started looking at the recipe, I think it's going to be a lot more involved than I was anticipating. So we will see how this turns out. First thing that we're going to do is we've got our ruby red grapefruit and we are going to cut that up into eighths. So yesterday I watched the first episode of Gilmore Girls season 1, which I think honestly is my favorite just because it automatically kind of brings that nostalgia. And one thing that I particularly love about the first episode of new shows is just how different everything is. You've got characters that might not show back up anywhere else. You've got everybody looking like babies, and so that is one thing that I noticed in particular, specifically the main three girls. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So now that we have eighth our grapefruit, we're going to take some turbinado sugar and put it on a shallow plate and actually coat both sides of the grapefruit. So like I was saying earlier, one thing that was really just fun for me to look up was how old all of the actors were whenever they actually started Gilmore Girls. Lorelai, played by Lauren Graham, was supposed to be 32 years old, but Lauren Graham was actually 33 years old. But the thing that I thought was really interesting was that Rory and Lane were supposed to be 16 years old, and Alexis Bledel, who plays Rory, was actually 19, so that's semi-close. But Keiko Agena, who plays Lane, was actually 27 years old, so not even close to 16. And so if you think about it, she was actually closer to Lorelai's age than she was to Rory, who's supposed to be our best friend in the show.
Next, what it's going to have us do is put some heavy whipping cream into two separate bowls. It's going to be half a cup in each bowl because we are going to end up mixing them with our two different kinds of chocolate chips. We're going to warm each of those bowls of cream up so that they will turn into hot eventually. Our first bowl of cream has come out of the microwave and it is hot. We get 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and we pour that into the heavy cream and just let it sit there. We don't do anything with it for 5 minutes. I've already got our other bowl of cream in the microwave. So when that one comes out, we're actually going to use milk chocolate chips. One of my other favorite things about Gilmore Girls is obviously the music. They've got an iconic taste in music, from the Bangles to Sam Phillips to a little bit of everything. I actually found a playlist on Spotify that has every single song that was ever played in the Gilmore Girls.
So I have got both of the cream and mint chocolate chip bowls going, and they have 5 minutes to go. While we were waiting on those, I turned on the broiler in our oven because we are going to go ahead and take our sugared grapefruit and broil those for about 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put those in.
So I'm going to go ahead and stir up our chocolate chips into the hot cream that I warmed up. It looks like the chocolate chips melted how they were supposed to. This is super creamy, so I'm hoping that the consistency will kind of melt together a little bit better than it is right now. Oh good, okay, so it turned into hot fudge quite nicely.
So it is the final step. We've got both of our chocolate sauces, we've got our red grapefruit, and we've got our ice cream. So let's see if we can get this to look pretty like Luke makes it. I personally love Luke Danes. Who does not? He's got a special place in my heart because I married my own version of Luke Danes. My husband is kind of a lumberjack. He's a grill master and he's actually a woodworker, which is really cool. So just like Luke has his boat and his projects and he's handy, and that is exactly what my husband is like. It was interesting to watch in episode 1 of Gilmore Girls because Luke ends up being clean shaven at the end of the episode because he had gone to the bank, and so that was the only part that just made me laugh, and that was a little bit different. I don't think he ever shaves again unless he goes to the bank again, I guess. And then it actually has us putting the red grapefruit on top of the hot fudge sundae.
Okay, so we have finished our hot fudge sundae with a side of red grapefruit, and I've got a lot of thoughts now that I'm looking at this. I think it's interesting, first of all, that they made the grapefruit go on top. Okay, that's actually not bad. I mean, I don't think you can really go wrong with caramelized sugar. Interesting for ice cream, but I've also heard of people putting cantaloupe on ice cream, which I had never heard of. Kind of interesting, but who am I to judge? All right, let's see how our hot fudge was. Okay, that's actually really good. I'm not usually a huge chocolate fan, but if you add heavy whipping cream in there, that makes everything good. All right, guys, that about does it for today. Thank you so much for joining me in my very first Gilmore Girls recipe. And if you